You want to know the single biggest factor to closing deals and building relationships? It's choices. People hate to be sold, but they love to buy. You've got to offer your client options for working with you, and I'm going to show you how to do that on today's episode of the Do This, Sell More show. Hi, it's Dave Lorenzo. Welcome to another edition of our show. Today we're talking about choices and how they can help you close deals. Never, ever offer your client just a yes or a no. You're going to be disappointed about 50% of the time or more, and your client is never going to have the relationship with you that they're capable of having because they'll feel like you're missing the mark about half the time. I'm going to show you how you can use a really good process that I've developed and I've shared with my clients over the last 25 years to close more deals and create lifelong client relationships in the process. Before we get to that, I want to thank you for being here. You are one of the most intelligent people in business today because you're committed to lifelong learning and you're a member of my community. So thanks for joining me. Remember, we're here every day on YouTube at 5 p.m. Be sure and hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you're notified when we go live with great interviews. Also, if you're joining me on the podcast, we're here on the podcast every day at 9 a.m. and we share unique, exclusive content on the podcast all the time. Be sure and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever podcasts are found. Okay, let's talk about how choices can close deals and how you can leverage this to make this year your best year ever. The first thing you need to do is you need to have an upfront discovery process before you even get into a conversation about your product or your service. If people say, just send me a proposal, you should run away as fast as you can because those people are just going to compare your price to somebody else's and you're never going to be able to demonstrate the appropriate amount of value. A discovery process is simply a set of questions that you ask to diagnose what the real problem is. You're just like a doctor. Regardless of what industry you're in, your process is just like the process of going to see the doctor. Here's what I mean. People show up to see you with symptoms, and it's your job to find out what the underlying problem is. You go into the doctor's office and you say, "Doctor, I've got a pain, and it's right here in my belly, and I've had this pain for a week." And the doctor's going to ask you a series of questions. He's not going to look at you and go, "It's either food poisoning or cancer. You pick." He's not going to say that to you. He's going to ask you what you've eaten. He's going to ask you when the last time you went to the bathroom was. He's going to ask you if you have a history of cancer in your family. He's going to do a full examination and press on your belly. He may order some additional tests to look inside and see what's going on in there. And then he's going to diagnose what the real problem is. He may give you some medication to make your symptoms feel better, but he will also address the actual problem to make sure you're well. You need to do the same thing with your clients. So your client comes to you and they say they need X. You need to find out why. You need to find out how long they've had this problem. You need to find out why now is the right time to solve the problem. You need to find out who else is involved in the decision-making process. You need to find out how much this problem is costing them. You need to find out what they're prepared to do in order to solve the problem. The client is going to bring you symptoms. You have to diagnose what the real problem is, so you should develop some discovery questions up front to ask the client so that you can do that diagnosis. Those questions need to answer the basic questions of who, what, when, where, why, and how. The second step is to make sure that you and the client agree that you've uncovered the real problem. Sometimes the client will know what the real problem is and they'll just be coy, but more likely the client doesn't realize what their real problem is. And when you uncover it and you present it to them, you have to get their agreement that this is truly the problem. So step number 2, once you get the client to see that they were presenting you symptoms and now you've uncovered the problem and you're in agreement, that's step 2. Step 3 is then to offer them some options for solutions. And I'm going to share with you 3 types of options. In step 3, you offer solely symptom relief. This is just taking away their symptoms. And you explain to them that that's not your preference, but if that's what they want, that's what you'll do. Explain to them that the problem's going to reoccur, and you'll have to keep addressing these symptoms over and over and over again. Step 4 is to offer them symptom relief and a fix for the problem. So you offer them symptom relief and you offer them a problem solution that you can provide, and that is even more money. And then step 5 is option 3. You're offering them prevention of future issues as well. Let's take a landscaper as the perfect example of this. Option 1, symptom relief. Person calls you up, you're a landscaper, they say, my grass needs to be cut and it's full of weeds. Can you come cut the grass and pull the weeds? Absolutely, I can come cut the grass and pull the weeds. You get there, you ask some questions. How important is your lawn to you? How often would you like your lawn cut? Do you ever have people come over your house that you want to impress? And then you discover that their lawn is important and they used to cut it themselves, but they don't have time anymore. So option 2 then is for you to say to them, okay, I'll cut your grass and pull all the weeds for you now, but those weeds are just going to come back. Would you like me to treat your grass? And I can treat it once a month to make sure the weeds go away. Instead of just being $75 a month, it's now going to be $150 a month, but the weeds will be gone. And they say, sure, I'll be happy to spend that extra money. And then you say to them, you know, what I'd like to do is I'd like to actually rip this grass up and start over, because that will ensure that we prevent all future issues. I'll never have to treat your grass, or I can treat it maybe 3 or 4 times a year, but if we start over, this will prevent all future problems, and that's going to cost about $1,000, but you'll save the money on the monthly treatment, because the monthly treatment, if necessary, will be included, and I'll give you a guarantee of no weeds in the future as long as I'm the person that works on your grass. So you'll pay me $75 a month for cutting the grass and treating the grass, and I guarantee no weeds in the future if you let me rip up your lawn and replace it with a new lawn. That's option 3. So you've got option 1, option 2, and option 3. You've got symptom relief in option 1. You've got symptom relief and a problem fix in option 2. And you've got option 3, which is symptom relief, a problem fix, and prevention of future issues. I also want you to take note. In option 3, I included the ongoing treatment in with the prevention of future issues. And that makes the value seem extraordinary, because if they continue to work with that landscaper over time, they will recoup the investment in their lawn. That's critical. Giving the client a deal that's good for you and for them is absolutely critical. So that's what option 3 should really be. Option 1 is symptom relief. Option 2 is symptom relief and a problem fix. And option 3 is prevention of future issues, in addition to symptom relief and a problem solution. Offer 3 options to your clients at all times, and make sure you explain the options thoroughly and make sure they understand the value of each option. Clients love to buy, but they hate to be sold, and when you offer them options, it does 3 things. Number 1, it keeps your relationship in good standing at all times. When you offer options, you seem like a good person who's out for their best interests. That's good. The second thing it does is it gives them choices. People like choices. They hate feeling like they're backed into a corner. And in just about every industry, people are offering yes or no solutions. You will be different. The third thing it does is it eliminates negotiation. Because if people want to negotiate, you just tell them to move to a lower option. If you can't afford option 3, that's fine. Select option 2. If you can't afford option 2, select option 1. And that's my final point on this. One of the options, usually option 1, needs to be within the budget they've given you. The other 2 options don't have to be, and you'll be amazed at how many times people stretch themselves to take the other options because they believe they're a better value. Choices close deals. Please make sure you do this and sell more.